You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
How many people here, own a storage facility? Put into the chat if you own one or not. I would love to know. And then also, tell me if you're a newbie, if you're just learning, is your first time here, or do you come every week? So kind of just introduce yourself into the chat would be good. And that's what I'd love to know, like, where did you hear about me at? Where did you find out about me? Would be good too. So, and I appreciate you guys all hopping on. I live in Florida, and we own 16 facilities, and then we're partnering, and then like another maybe 10 or 15, something like this. And I'm all across the country. But typically we're in the Southeast, like our facilities are Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, but I partner with my students is what I do. And so their facilities are all across the country, they're all kind of all over the place. So, and then also another thing is that I've done like every type of deal that you could imagine. I've been in real estate investing since 2011, and we've done like 250 transactions, and I've done every type of transaction. I've done commercial, I've done multifamily, I've done rehabbing, rentals, but we got into storage in 2016. We got into storage, so we did 5 years of like other stuff, and then as soon as we got into storage, I was like, that's it. I'm not doing anything else. Because the one thing I love about storage is that, like, you can just almost sit at your desk and manage everything. You know what I'm saying? So like my husband, we have a lot of storage facilities. So he's going to the facilities a lot, and he's doing a lot. But the reason he goes to the facilities a lot is because we're doing a lot of CapEx stuff. And so if you're new and you haven't been here before, I go over, especially in my course, I go over all the different ways you can invest in self-storage. There's like 8 different ways, but the 2 main ones that really kind of most people think about when you think of storage is either buying a facility that's producing income, as is right now, or buying a facility that's not producing income, right? I call that a mismanaged facility. And, we rehabbed homes. We rehabbed a lot of homes from like 2011 to 2016, actually to like 2017. Finally got rid of my last one. And we did like 100 homes. And, when you rehab homes, like you just you get used to crap. You get used to like just, everybody, I remember like when I was, I used to teach rehabbing as well too. But like, I remember you used to say like, the nastier the home, the more money you're going to make, right? It's the same concept in storage. It really is. It's the same concept, except for we call those mismanaged, right? Because in the storage business, you're like, you're making money based on how well you manage that property. You can clean it out. You can make that property like sparkling and just like curb appeal and gate. And that's the thing I don't understand is when people really go way overboard in their storage facilities. Yeah, I can like in my storage facility, that's like a typical storage facility. I just charge the same price that like the person that has a beautiful storage facility charges, and we still get tenants. So I'm not quite understanding the concept of like, the more beautiful your storage facility, the more money you make is, because the truth is like I have like class, C's, like D's and C's, and a little bit some B's. I don't have any class A's. And like our competition, like, so for instance, in our Leesburg, Florida facility, our competition is CubeSmart. And it's like a really nice facility. And like, we have the same promos, we have the same, like the exact same facility as CubeSmart, so, and it's like this beautiful building and stuff, so I'm not quite understanding, the whole concept of the more money that you put into like a commercial property, like a storage facility or something like the better. So, but anyway, so we are like, so we're in the process. Like I said, we have 16 facilities. Our goal is to sell them all. All right. And then and we're slowly starting to do that. So I pitched my Warm Springs facility last week, and so we're working on getting offers now for that. And I'm going to go over the Warm Springs facility. Now it's like one of my very first facilities that I bought. This is a very, very good little tiny facility that you can learn on. And I know everybody here is all, you want to get into the industry, and sometimes you have a lot of money and sometimes you don't have a lot of money, right? So I didn't really like have a lot of money when I got into storage. What I did is I convinced my lenders that were rehabbing with me, my private lenders, I convinced them to just roll that money over into storage. And so that's what I do with this Warm Springs facility. And this is something, if you're rehabbing right now, which I know a lot of people are in, like they're in other niches in the investing world and they want to get into storage, so you may already have like lenders in your back pocket, like private lenders. And so you can just convince them to just, invest with you in like a storage facility instead of doing rehabbing. The only difference between the rehabbing investor, like investments, and then the storage investments is that the time frame. Like when you're rehabbing, essentially you're paying somebody back within a year, right? So you got to get everything done within a year typically, and unless it's a new build, maybe it's a little bit longer. But when you're doing storage, like it's a buy and hold, and most investors will lend to you for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 years. Sometimes like my investors that invest with me or lend with me, they do not want their money back. In fact, like this Warm Springs facility, the money that I get back from this lender that lent it to me, he's like, I met with him and I told him I'm going to start selling my facilities off. And he has a couple of facilities that he's lent to me on. And he was like, I don't want that money back. Do not give me that money back. He's like, just keep using it for something else. And so now I got to figure out what to do with this money. That's like one thing. I'm like, okay, now what do I do? So, and that's another reason why people like me don't sell. Honestly, like when you're talking to owners, I teach go directly to the owner and just ask them if they want an offer. And a lot of owners are thinking the same way as me. Like they don't want to sell because they don't know what to do with the money that they're going to make. It's really stressful, honestly, to find something, after, because you either have to pay taxes or 1031 exchange it. It's kind of stressful. And so a lot of people don't really want to go through that, so you have to keep that in mind when you're talking to owners. But so we're in that same process. We are going to sell our 16 facilities one by one by one. Now, you guys tell me what you think about this. So we have 16 facilities that are $1 million or less. No, I'm sorry. We have 10 facilities that are $1 million or less. Our first 10 facilities were less than $1 million. Little tiny facilities all over like Georgia, Florida, and Georgia. And then and then the ones that we started moving up to now are like $1 million to $2 million, then we're $2 to $3 million. Now there's a big handful of our facilities that are kind of right next to each other, because I used to live in Peachtree City. And then all I did was just drive for storage, and I drove around, and I talked to almost every owner of every facility. And just kind of introduced myself and said, look, I'm trying to get into this field. And like, I'm just asking all the owners if you're interested in selling. And that's how I picked up so many facilities around the Peachtree City area. If you go to Google Maps, I was going to pull this up and show you. Let me share my screen. If you go to Google Maps and you just type in like Miss Lillian's self-storage, Yeah, so you can see here, I used to live in Peachtree City, which is kind of like right here. You can see Peachtree City. And so these facilities right here is just me driving for storage. That's all it is. There should be more than that. There it is. Okay, yeah. So there's these 4 facilities, and then there's this Warm Springs one. So my question is, and I was talking to a realtor about selling my facilities. I'm shopping around, talking to a couple of realtors. And so my thought process is like, and you guys chime in on this and tell me what you think. But like, should I sell these 4 facilities as a package? Right? And just, is it better to sell these as a package? I call these little mini portfolios. Or is it better to just sell them one by one by one? I don't know. So that's why I'm talking to a realtor, because my thought process is like, let me just pitch out my Warm Springs deal and let's just see if somebody will give me an offer on, like, give me a fair offer, which happened. And I can just, you guys, I have a list of you guys all listening to me. So my question is like, should I just keep pitching out my deals one by one and seeing if anybody picks them up? Or should I sell this as a package? Do you make more money as, with the package, or do you make more money just selling them one-offs? If anybody can answer that, that would be a great answer for me. And I've talked to a couple of realtors, and of course they say like, send me the numbers and I'll make a decision or whatever. But so these facilities right here outside of this Fayetteville location, this Fayetteville location is a little bit bigger. It's got 60 units, plus it's got another like maybe 40 to 50 parking spaces. Okay, I'll go through each of my facilities. So it's a little bit bigger than the other ones. This is Fairburn, and Fairburn has like 60 units, plus it has a commercial space. It has we bought a facility that also has a mechanic shop, right? Which is like totally random, but like, yeah. So we own like a mechanic shop, and he just like rents it out is what he does. So it's a little bit extra income, So that's this one right here. And then this one in Noonan is also 60 spaces, 60 units plus some parking spaces, like maybe 15 parking spaces, but this one is on 2 acres. So you could really add a lot of more space to that if you wanted to. And then the Franklin one is 60 units and that's it. Like you can't add any more, like there's no space to do anything. So it's really kind of the same size as 60, 60, 60, plus like some commercial space, some parking spaces. Oh, and another thing that's really cool too is on this facility right here. This is what it looks like. And you can see this is where all the parking is all around here. So there's a lot of parking spaces. But this facility here, we park big rigs is what we park. So this is like kind of more of an industrial parking space. And there's like tow trucks and box trucks and dump trucks, this kind of stuff, which the owner previously had just been doing that. And he had a couple of tenants that were had companies that were like either dump truck companies or tow truck companies. So they would just come and just park it here. So we just kind of kept it that way, which is okay because, they pay a little bit higher rate. The only thing about doing that is that we did have to come in and we repaved, we re-graveled this whole thing. So it's actually brand new gravel. We just did that like maybe last year, I think. And so you have to do that maybe once every 10 years or something like this. He had never done it. The owner had like never done it. So it was a mess, but like, you'd have to do that, which didn't really cost that much money, maybe 20 grand or something. But anyway, so that's this facility. Okay. And then let's see what else. And then, yeah, so here's the Fairburn facility is right here, right? So you can see this one is like, it's just 60 units, these 2. And then this is the mechanic shop. You can see he has some cars and stuff, and he parks his cars in his back. And we covered this, like this fence right here, we covered it with like the black screen cover, so like the tenants can't see it. And he's been there for like, 10, 15, 20, he's been there for like maybe 15 or 20 years, this guy. So like, he'll just continue to stay there with his little mechanic business is what he'll do. Okay. And then this one right here is the Noonan location. And this one is also like the 2 buildings, and then here's some parking. But the land is like quite large. I think it's like at least 2 to 3 acres. So there's a lot of the land. Like you could definitely build out over here and stuff if you wanted to. Okay. But this, we park boat and RVs. This is boat and RV parking is what it is. Okay. And then finally we have the this one right here. And this is the one I told you about. It's just 60 acres, 60 units. And it's just like, you drive up this and then it's just this little space right here. Okay. This is one of our best facilities. Actually, it's like, so this one is always full. It's like this facility is always full. And the reason why is because there's really not a lot of storage facilities around. There's 2 other storage facilities in this area, but within like a 10-mile radius, there's like nothing else, so it's just full, and so a lot of people always say like, oh my gosh, don't ever buy these little tiny facilities. So my idea was, when I was buying these facilities, was, first of all, I lived in Peachtree City and I was just driving around. And I was just really, honestly, just talking to any owner that would want to talk to me. And I would just be like, would you be interested in getting an offer? And they'd just be like, yeah, sure, give me an offer or whatever. And actually the Franklin, when I drove past it, I called, and the good thing is that the phone number is on the sign, right? So you just call. And so I called the one in Franklin, and I answered, the owner answered the phone, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in your storage facility. And he was like, oh, you want a unit? And I said, no, I don't want a unit. I want to buy your storage facility. He's like, where are you? And I said, like, I just drove past your facility. I just called the number right off the phone, off the sign. He's like, come back around. Let's talk. And so I did. I drove back and I just pulled up, and there is a little tiny office there. And so he sits in the office. He would just sit in this office all day long and just like managing, like clean a storage facility and stuff. And it's only 60 units. I was thinking like, what the hell are you doing all day long, But and his name was Talmadge, as an older guy. He's like, I've been thinking about selling, I really want to sell. And I was like, I'm interested in buying. He's like, I've got a couple in the area and I'd love to pick another one up. And he was like, I want it for, he's like, I want it for $189,000. And I was like, $189,000. I was like, yeah, I can do that. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, yeah, I think I could do that. And so, I was like, you have to give me some numbers and stuff. You have to show me your numbers. And so he just we sat at his desk and he opened up this drawer and he pulled out this yellow notepad. And he started writing down his numbers. He said 10 by 10s. I've got, 7 of those and I charge like $60. And 5 by 10s, I've got 14, whatever it was. I don't know what numbers it was, but he just literally wrote them down. He had everything was in his head, everything. And so I was just like, I looked at the thing and I was just like, yeah, I could pick this one up, And so, and this is one of the best facilities that we had. Really nice guy. And I just asked one of my lenders, I was like, can I get a couple $100,000 from you to go buy this facility? He was like, yeah, I'll give you a couple $100,000. And so that's really kind of how it worked out. And that's how I built this little mini portfolio right here. I drove for storage and I just went around and just asked the owners. Now, obviously, these are really good locations because this is you can think about the times of the storage industry. These are all kind of right in the Atlanta area. All right. Now, when I started in 2015, 16, 17, really getting into this business, nobody was thinking about storage. Right. So I had the opportunity of buying these facilities kind of closer to Atlanta. Right now, these types of facilities, these are really kind of hard to come by outside in the burbs of big cities anymore. Right. That's just how the market has been totally saturated. And, people are trying to buy storage facilities left and right. So these little tiny facilities, it's very hard to pick up a mismanaged facility that's right outside a major metropolitan area. Okay. It's just not normal. I have not seen this in a very, very long time. I just happened to get into the industry at that time when nobody was thinking, but everybody was really kind of coming out of the bubble and trying to really get back on their feet. And that's when multifamily was really becoming popular. Rehabbing was really popular because there was a lot of crappy houses out there and stuff, foreclosures, and then multifamily started to come and get back on its feet. But nobody was thinking about storage, and I just happened to be in that industry. But Now these tertiary market facilities, there's nothing wrong with buying these at all. And I always say this all the time when you're listening to me, there's nothing wrong with buying a smaller facility. You just, you just have to be a little bit further out. Like you're gonna have to be in like country, right? And so there's nothing wrong with that as all. But you want to build some portfolios. It's kind of sort of harder to sell one little tiny property, for 40 or 50 or 60 units versus like 100 to 200 to 300 units. It's harder. It's a little bit harder to make money on these smaller facilities. Okay, but if you are the type of person that you can only come up with 50 or 100 grand, which really honestly doesn't buy you that much, then you want to be in these tertiary markets. Now, if you can come up with 500 grand, then you don't have to buy these types of facilities. But that's how I started out. Okay, that's really how I started out. So now we're to the point where these facilities here are all stabilized. They're like anywhere from, let's say, 75% full to 95% full, something like that. And all like anything that had any type of repairs or anything like that has all been done. And like whenever we do decide to sell these properties, whether it's one-off, one by one, or it's like as a portfolio, like there will be very minimal work that needs to get done to these. So my job, like as an investor, the type of investor that I am in the storage world, is I buy like severely mismanaged facilities and then I stabilize them and I sell them. Now, to stabilize a facility and to buy a mismanaged facility and to stabilize a facility is not easy. It's a lot of work. We've owned these properties for probably upwards of like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. And it's taken quite a lot of time, quite a long time to really fix them up, make them look good, lay the gravel down. Like we put gravel at Franklin, Fairburn we painted. We did Franklin and at Fayetteville, we put gravel down and a whole bunch of other stuff, cleaned them up. Fayetteville was by far our worst. That was a really, really big, like, because the owner just uses it as a dumping ground. And so it takes a long time. So you want to be whole. And plus you can't, it just takes a long time to make money on these things. So you can't like buy a property and then hold it for a couple of months and then just sell it. It's not like not in like a residential. You want to plan on holding these properties for like 3 to 5 years, if not longer. You don't really have to hold storage for a long time. Like you don't need to be holding on. You can if you want to. If you're the type of person like, I just want to buy and hold, I want cash flow, then you can just hold on to the property for as long as you want. But the truth is that the amount of money that you're going to make in like 5 years versus 10 years versus 15 years, it's not even that much more money. You're going to make the most amount of money really in the first like 5 years of owning the property. And then, once you sell it, and then once you sell it, you'll make some money as well too. But so that's kind of my personal opinion. You guys tell me what you guys think. You can yell at me and tell me I'm wrong or whatever. So now my idea is I was going to go over the Warm Springs deal so you guys could just see how I found it, how I funded it, how I'm running it. And then also just give me your opinion on the other 4. Should I do it as a portfolio and sell them to somebody that wants all 4 of them? Or should I do them one-off and just sell them one by one? Put it into the chat, whatever you think, or let me know, okay? And okay, so now at the Warm Springs location, let me see some comments here. Let's see. Mustafa says, with selling a package, you provide the buyer pricing power on rates in the area, depending on the market. You also provide economies of scale if they wish to designate a property manager to look after all the facilities. I see that as an added additional value. You could also negotiate on the broker fee selling a portfolio versus singles. You can always lead with the portfolio and then decide if you want to spin off on one of its own. Just my opinion, of course, other factors still looking at this. Yeah, this is a very good point, Mustafa, for bringing this up. These properties that you see here, Franklin, Noonan, Fairburn, and Fayetteville, we have one boots on the ground person that manages all 4 of those. And his job is to go to each one of the facilities once a week. And so, and then every, one of the facilities sometimes takes twice a week or whatever, but like typically once a week. So we have a full-time person that is managing all of those facilities for us. And we have another facility in Carrollton that we're not going to sell, but he manages that one as well too, and he lives in this area as well too. So he just gets up and he just like moseys on over to the storage facility. He picks up trash, he overlocks units, he does all different, like he does a lot of stuff. Actually, let me just show you what he did today. Okay, I love this so much. And actually his name's Chris, and he's an amazing boots on the ground person. So let me go to the downloads because he sent pictures of what he did today. So can I scroll over? Yeah, okay, good. Let me share my screen on this and let me show you what he did. Just like little tiny things like this honestly make me so happy. It really, really does. It just makes me so happy. Can you see our sign? So this is our sign. Okay, this is at our Noonan location. And well, man, let me see, hang on. Let me do a new share. Is this it? Maybe this is it. Yeah, maybe this is it. Okay, no. Okay, so this is what the sign looked at like beforehand. This is what our sign looked like. And I was like, we need to clean that sign up. It's looking rough, So Chris went out there and he like cleaned it up, wiped it off, and then he just repainted the sign. And it looks so good now, doesn't it? Which may not seem like a big deal, but that's kind of the stuff that our boots on the ground person does, is like for instance, our bollards, because people like knock those things over and stuff. And he's like painting them, fixing them up. He's also like wiping down the doors. Like we do power wash, we'll power wash the facilities once a year, but he'll like wipe down the doors. He gets into the units and cleans all the trash up, and he does the latches. And he also like, cleans the outside area up if there's any branches or anything. He does like so much stuff, honestly. And he's also very good at this is something like if you hire a boots on the ground person, that they can change the springs in the doors and like change the latches out, because like your doors, like sometimes they just like break or whatever, so he'll just like, we'll send him latches and then we'll send him springs, and then he'll just get in and he'll just change all the latches and everything out himself. He does it all by himself, so that's not something that like we have to go and do, because like Pete used to have to do that all the time. Now when he's training somebody, because we have 6 boots on the ground people now, but like when he's training somebody, he'll train somebody how to do that, and then they'll just do it themselves or whatever. So but so that's kind of the stuff that he does. So I love that sign. I mean, it looks so good now, it was like really old and dirty. That's like beautiful sign, brand new sign. So anyways, okay, all right, so that's that. Let's see who else. Let me see any other good comments. From what I've learned, it depends on who the buyer is. If interested, this is from Eric. If interested in selling a private party with the possibility of seller finance, easy to sell individually. However, if you have REITs on your crosshairs, selling as a package, we are interested in them, especially since you have facilities. Since your facilities have been stabilized, REITs would love them because they involve a larger sum of money, who's generally more economical for them to borrow. Why not use both strategies? Office of the package with the possibility of selling individually. Yes, exactly. So this is something that we would do as well too. So this is my idea. Like my idea was like, let me pitch them out and just like, let me pitch it out and see if like I can find a buyer. And then if I can't find a buyer, then I'll just hand it over to the realtor and hopefully they'll find a buyer, That was kind of my, and then we would sell them either individually or sell them as a package. That's kind of my idea. Now I wanted to test that theory out with the Warm Springs facility, which I wanted to show you guys. And this is the one that we decided is our very first facility to sell. And actually, selling a facility is really, kind of scary, and it's kind of sad. It's not sad. It's like bittersweet is what it is. Okay. And, because it's like, you really like, we worked hard to stabilize this thing. So, and I explained this in my pitch, but when we bought this facility, I'm going to show this picture here. Actually, this is the one that we decided to sell first. And the reason that we decided to sell this one first is because you know, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere for us. So like Chris has a hard time getting there. The person that was managing it, he got a hernia and he like hasn't been able to go there in like, you know, a couple months and stuff. So like Pete was having to drive over there. And so it's just kind of like in the middle of nowhere, really is what it was. And so we said, let's just see if anybody wants to buy this one. And also another thing is we're going to just roll this money over into to a piece of property because we're going to build our next goal is to build a storage facility here near us where we live. Okay, so let me see. Where is Miss Lillian? Oh, here it is. It's up here. Okay. I have not been to the storage facility in forever. So Warm Springs is like a little storage facility in a little tiny town of like maybe 500 or 600 people. It's not a big town. But it's the only storage facility in this town. You know, if you have one storage facility in a town, most likely it's going to be, you know, it's going to run pretty good. Okay. Okay, so this is what it looks like right here. So I just wanted to show you there's buildings, a building, and then another building. So there's 3 buildings. And this area right here, it's quite a big piece of land. There's definitely enough space to build another building right here. We just do parking there is what we do. You know, we never went in and added like another building or anything, but that's a possibility. And then also the border goes back like to here. So you could clear all this as well too. And you could add another building back here if you wanted to. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then I also just wanted to, you know, show everybody kind of how we keep our, you know, all of our properties organized. Every single one of our properties has a folder. And so this is our Warm Springs, Georgia, Florida, and Georgia folder. And then we always keep these up to date, like our in-house, like one of our in-house like assistants, they keep this up to date for us on all the facilities that we have, just in case we want to sell them, right? And so we have like regrid information. Regrid is a just so people that don't know, regrid is a site that you can go to the nationwide, you can go to the map and you can look up like parcel data is what you could. So let me see, what's the address of this thing? Let's see if it pulls up. This is it, 51 Green Street. And then you could just, 51 Green Street's right here. And then you could see here's, so here's the property. And then you could see like the owners, and you could see the, you know, the address and the value of, you know, what we're paying on our taxes. And the acreage is 0.69, this kind of stuff. It's like the property report cards. It's completely free for you to look up. Highly recommend that you're always looking at like something like regrid. If you have another suggestion, you can put it into the chat. We use regrid. We used to use Landglide, but then we switched over to regrid because it's free, you know. So now, another thing is we always pull the data from Radius Plus. Radius Plus is another way for you to find. This is only for storage facilities, okay? And and then you can pull like all the data for a specific storage facility on Radius Plus. I'm not going to pull this up because every time that you get into this, it costs a credit and it costs money to do that. So, but like, so you have to pay every time you use Radius Plus, you have to pay for it, just so you know. Okay. All right. And it's not like a monthly fee or anything like that. Radius Plus is like, yes, I want to pay. And they give you like 1 hour of time. And I think it costs like $25 or something. Okay. Okay, so let's see, let me go back to not Radius Plus. Oh, to my folder. Yeah, to my folder is what it is. But this is what it looks like inside Radius Plus. It'll give you information on like your competition and whether or not they have a loan. This is my competition. B&E Self-Storage is in Manchester. And do they have a loan? Yeah, they have a loan. They're paying 4.5% interest on their facility, right? Here's the Radius. So Radius, when you think of Radius in the storage world, you're thinking of like 1, 3, 5, 10-mile radiuses. Like what's the competition? What's the amount of population? You know, how much total storage is in this radius? Because, and that thought process comes from you know, people don't really want to travel that far to go to a storage facility. Like they just want something like right around the corner. They want their stuff to stay close to them for the most part, right? And so that's where this radius came from. And so you could see here's like, this is our competition. There's really not a lot of storage facilities within a 10-mile radius. You've got these 4, and then you've got this one over here. Okay. And that's what you can look at. So that's kind of how radius looks. And then also it gives you like within a 10-mile radius, how much storage facility is in the area. Okay. You've got 24,000 square feet of climate controlled and 38,000 square feet of non-climate control. Okay, that's what you can look at as well too. And then it also gives you demographics. All right, so your population within I'm in a 10-mile radius is 15,000, right? And then you can see population growth, households, income, average income, this kind of stuff. Okay. And then this is our occupancy reports. This is, I put these in there. So we'll go over theirs in just a minute. But so that's that. So that's Radius Plus. And then we've got, I don't know what portfolio is, nothing. Okay. Let's see, photos. Oh yeah, here's photos of the facility. Let's see. Yeah. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's our little promo. When we need to get somebody in, we do 50% off the first 3 months. Okay, so that's what you're looking at here. It's just photos. Let's see what else we got in here. We've got the executive summary. This is like, you know, we just put everything together is what we do of the facility. The size of the units are here. Got the photos. We've got the bird's eye view of where it's located. We've got street views, demographics. So there's 2,700 people. And population. So it's growing, you know, because when I bought it, it was like not that many people. And then here's the regrid stuff. And then here's the competition, pictures of the competition. Johnny's self-storage is 8.8 miles away in Woodbury. The competitor 5.6 is White House. And then 3.8 miles away is B&E. And then 7.5 miles away is Shiloh Storage. And then 1.9 is Dorman Storage, a little tiny facility. Okay, that's our little executive summary. Everything that you know you need in order, like all the stuff that we're looking at, we just put it into one executive summary. And the reason why is because I was getting tired of just opening up every single folder. So I was like, just put everything into one summary for me, so I can just look at that. That was kind of the whole purpose. Let's see what else. Population we've got, that's the demographics, and then the competitors, and then the 3-5 mile radius, and then the pitch replay. But so and then finally we have the management reports. I'll go over those here in just a second. But this is like really everything that you need in order to decide if it's a good deal. Okay, this is all the information that you need. So now when you're looking at deals, like this is what you should be looking for. This is all the list of the things that you should be putting, and we just happen to just put it into a folder, make it nice and neat, and you know, so then that way when I look at it, or when I share this folder out to anybody that's interested in buying it, they could easily find everything as well. Okay. And so then what I wanted to get into real fast was just the StorageNerds. So we use StorageNerds to manage all of our facilities. And so you can see here from the facility map, this is what it looks like. This is kind of what it looks like. This is actually what it looks like. Okay. So let's see here. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So the storage facility itself is 5,000 square feet. So it's actually pretty big, honestly. And then we've got, remember, this whole area right here, I told you is where you could put another building if you want, or you could do parking. We're right now just doing the parking, and that's it. We never really did anything else with it. So that's a good opportunity for somebody if they want to add another unit. I've already priced it out. To add a building like this, it's going to cost you like maybe $20,000 to $25,000. So it really doesn't cost that much money to put another building out. Okay. Now, let's see. And let's see. So when you look at this, you see the blue are the paid people that are up to date and paid. The green is available units, right? And then the red is late. Is late people. Okay, so you can see this person is past due. This person's past due. Okay, this person right here, this one is available. This is a 10 by 10, and we offer it for $75. So the pricing, even in a tertiary market, the pricing is actually quite normal. You know what I'm saying? So $75 is for a 10 by 10 is pretty high. Let's see, this person right here is a 10 by 20, and he's paying $115, right? We could go all the way up to $138 on this, like if we wanted to. This person's paying $115. So that's actually quite good for a 10 by 20. Okay, and this person here, let me see, this person here is $75. So you can see now that our 10 by 20s are 115 to 138. And what size is this? This is 10 by 14, is 98 or 117, depending on, it could be anywhere between 98 and 117, depending on our phone people giving discounts or whatever as well too. Okay, and you have to remember with pricing as well that we have we have a whole bunch of different prices. Like we have a ridiculous amount of prices. If you go to Miss Lillian Self-Storage, and then you go to our website, let me see here, and you choose Warm Springs, hang on. All right, here, then so you can see this is our web, this is our web prices. If you come in, if you do not use anybody on our team to book a unit with us, you will have a better rate than if you call in, right? And the reason why is because we didn't have to do any work at all. It's like completely automated, the whole thing, right? But if you have to call in and you need to get surprising and talk and blah, 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 convincing and negotiating and stuff, well, then that price is going to be higher. All right. That's just how it is for us. Okay. So, and actually when you look at our rent roll, and our rent roll is inside the folder, our rent roll is like every single, there's like prices are all over the price, and they're all over. We don't have like one price for a unit. Okay. We have we use dynamic pricing. So what that means is that, let me just stop my screen. What we do is we use dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing means that we have a whole bunch of different prices. All right. We've got the standard rate, the management rate, we've got the website rate, we've got our promo rate, we've got the spare foot rate, we've got Google Ads rates. And then on top of that, each one of those rates, because the way that storage works is that you can go into storage and you can create dynamic pricing, which means that if you come in through Sparefoot, and then Sparefoot is a little bit kind of more of the more expensive rate than most of the others, because they charge more and stuff, they charge a lot of money. So so what we do is we'll say, we'll give Sparefoot only so many units, because they charge quite a bit of money to do that. We'll give them only so many units to be able to sell. And then of those units that we have available, let's say 10 by 10s, if we give them 5 10 by 10s to sell, and every single one of those units is going to be a different price, because we base it off of whether or not there's availability. So if we only have 1 left or 4 left or 3 left or whatever, then the price will be different based on that. And then overall, you can set up dynamic pricing in your facility as well. It's if you're 80% full, your price for a 10 by 10 is this, and 85% it's like this, and then you can just go up. And that one unit that's left over should be way more expensive than all the others. So when you start really digging into our pricing, when you look at how much money we make, right? So let's just say we make $100,000 per month, and then you can look at inside storage, you can look at how much money your based on your rates that you should be making on a monthly basis, and then how much money are you actually making. And most of the time, when you look at that for us, we're making more money than what like they're saying that we could actually be making based on our pricing. And the reason why is because of the dynamic pricing. We make quite a bit of money off of dynamic pricing. So once you own a storage facility, if you are not using dynamic pricing, you are shooting yourself in the foot, really. You should be really utilizing that technique in order to make as much money as you possibly can. All based off just your occupancy and then the size of units. And you can get dig even more deeper into it, right? You could say at one of our facilities, like for instance, at our Blairsville facility, like we struggle selling 10 by 30s. Like all the other, like we have like some 10 by like we have like 8 10 by 30s or something. And like I think we have like 4 or 5 filled, but those last like couple that we have left, like we're struggling to fill those. We try lowering the price, doing promos, and like we only do that for that one unit size. All the other ones we have no issues with selling those. Like we don't have any issues with converting 10 by 10s or 5 by 10s or 10 by 15s or 10 by 20s. All right, but only those 10 by 30. So that means like in StorageNerds, you can say only for my 10 by 10s, am I going to drop the price right now by 30%? And then I'm going to set dynamic pricing based on how much I sell, the price will be increased. And I'm telling you, it is there's hardly any softwares out there that can do that. I use StorageNerds, and the reason I use StorageNerds is really because of that feature. Okay, and we can make upwards of $10,000 or $15,000 a month just by using dynamic pricing. So if you're not using dynamic pricing, you're an owner and you're listening to me right now, please utilize that right now. Okay. And get in there and just really learn how to do it, because it takes a little while to figure it all out and stuff. We go over this quite often in our facility owner mastermind. So in StorageNerds, we have 2 different masterminds, one for everybody and then one for just owners. And then the owners, we get into storage and we really show them kind of how to utilize. We show all of our students how to utilize that. It's kind of a little bit complicated, but highly recommend if you can figure it out and get in there and do it. Okay. Okay. So, and then also I wanted to show you real fast the management summary. This is something that like all the softwares can produce. I just pulled this as of like December 31st. There's, you can pull it as of whatever day. This one's as of March 7th. And then it just kind of shows you for the facility what you're making for the month and what you're making for the year. Let me see if I can just pull this right now for you just come into StorageNerds and then you just click manage summary, and then you could just click whatever day that you want. This is the 20th. I could generate this report. And then, and so, because like we meet like every week we meet and we for at least an hour and we go over like numbers and like all kinds of stuff. So this management summary report for us as owners is super important. Okay, yeah, so you could see this. So yeah, you could see here, like as of March 20th, we're at $2,600. When I pull up the report as of March 7th, we're only at $1,900. Right. So remember that, money's always coming in. So we made like upwards of like, $700, $900 or whatever it is, in the last, couple of weeks that we did that. And the reason why is because March 7th is like still kind of in that first 10 days of period of like people really pay, people kind of just, some people pay the first week, some people pay the second week, some people the third week. By the third week, we're going into the auction process. People are getting notified, like you're late, like we're about to put you in the auction process. As of day 25, you're going into the auction process. And we don't accept partial payments as of August 25th, as of the 25th of every single month. All right. And so then you'll see like as of the 25th, the numbers will start changing and we'll go up. It'll make more money after that, because then like we'll be able to get like fees because we make a lot of money off of fees as well too. So late fees, overlock fees, and auction process fees is what we do. So you'll see even more of that money go up. So anyways, but I just wanted to show you all the management summary. Let me pull this up here. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so let me pull this one actually, new share. No, this is right? Yeah, this is right. Okay, let me see. Where's the one that I just pulled up? Oh yeah, it's right here. So this was as of today. So you could see that we had 5 move-ins this as of March 20th. We've had 5 move-ins, 17 for the whole year. We've had move-ins, and then we're at 73%. We did auctions in February. We had an auction where we auctioned off, like, I can't remember, a couple of, a good handful of units. So like we're trying to get back up to getting these filled here as well too. You could see. And you can also see that, we made $8,500 this year. And then you could see how much money we made. We made $484 in fees, and, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up, and then we made $777 just in insurance. And then we made an extra $300 for something. I'm not sure, maybe for an auction or something. I'm not sure. Okay. And then you can see, you can see our move-ins to date, month to date, we had 2 move-ins, and year to date, we had 6 move-ins. We had 1 move out, and for the year, 4 move outs, right? So we're net rentals +1 or +2, okay, is where we're at. All right. And then it's a small facility, so it's kind of just normal. We try to shoot for +1. We try to shoot every month for +4 -1. That's our goal for these small facilities, +4 -1. But you can see rental revenue, you can see, and then the fee. So you can see we only made $21.33 in rental revenue, but that includes the insurance and like any fees, 60 late fees, administrative fees, or whatever it is. Okay, so it comes out to 226. You want to make sure that you put all these fees in your contract. We have a lot of fees, right? Is what we do. So we just put a lot of fees is what we do. And then we make so much money off of these fees. But so that's the management summary. So this management summary is something that we just download from StorageNerds very easily, and then we'll hop on a meeting and we'll go over all our numbers. We'll check the prices, check the occupancy, and then what you do as an owner is you just play the occupancy game. That's what I call it. It's called the occupancy game. It's like, is my price right for what the occupancy is, right? Is that price right? Do I need to lower, or can I increase it? So for instance, like one of our facilities in Florida is a 93% full right now, and I'm like, we got to stop any promos that we have. We offer no more promos at all, and on top of that, we will be like, in the next couple of weeks that we meet, we'll be looking at like, can we increase any of the people's unit prices and stuff. So once you get to a certain price, you kind of start doing that, and it's really the occupancy game is what it is. So, and then if you raise the rent and you see people moving out, then you say, okay, like, was that too much? Like, do I need to not raise the rents, for the next batch? And you never want to do like raising rents or doing anything like all at once. You just want to do it in batches is what you want to do. That's really the key to playing the game. Okay. So anyways, that is the Warm Springs location. So we are in the process of selling this location. So if anybody wants to put an offer in, you're more than welcome to put an offer in on this. I'll just share the folder with you, and then you can take a look at it and put an offer. We have already received an offer as well, an offer or two. I think maybe actually we just got 2 offers. So we do want to sell this property though. So I figured I would just let y'all know that if you're interested in put offering, if you want to get started into the industry, this would be a great one. Now this is a property where there's not going to be anything that you need to do outside of really just like manage it. There's not really any CapEx or anything that you need to get done. And then eventually, if you wanted to add that 1 building, you could do that as well too. All right, you have to spend like maybe 25 grand, and you can add that and you can just get it leased up. And if you run the numbers on like the 46 units that we have versus like what I did is added 60, like I made it to 60 units. So I added like 17 units or something. I put like 1 building and I just added a couple of units. And it really takes, if you can spend $25,000 and add the building, you'll be able to make quite a bit of money, 150 grand plus on the property. You'll increase the property value very substantially. Okay, which is really how new construction works anyways. But so that's the opportunity there as well. So let me know what your thoughts are on this deal. Any questions, put it into the chat. I have a few minutes to answer them. And hopefully I inspired you to get out there and just put some offers in, look at deals and put offers in. That's all you have to do in order to just get started, okay? And then I just wanted to remind you real fast that you can go to the Stacy Rossetti website, right? StacyRossetti.com, and you can get the course, right? Remember that you can just get my course right here. Just come to the online course under Stacy Rossetti and you could purchase it. And this is like just step-by-step how to get started in self-storage investing. And then also on top of that, make sure that you look at purchasing the deal analyzer. And the deal analyzer is where you can actually run the numbers and you can look at it, and it's just green is yes and red is no, don't put an offer in, kind of a thing, right? And that's like us running the deal analysis on this Warm Springs facility. This is what my deal analyzer looks like, and it will tell you, what your, green or red, is it good or not good for the offer that you have. And so you could go through and put your inputs in, and you could just make an offer. Okay, so this is available to you as well. Okay. All right. So now Richard says, you're in a seller's market. I would sell individually because of the buying power out there. Yeah. So that's a good point too, as well. So, and the thing is that, right now in the industry, there's not a lot of small facilities for sale. There's a lot of like bigger ones, but a lot of people can't afford bigger ones. So that was another reason why I would just sell them individually, is like, just so people can actually buy something, like putting them all together and putting a whole portfolio together. It's harder for somebody to buy it, so, I want to get people in the industry. Eric's asking, is the management report auto-generated? Yes, it's just all in storage is what it is. As an owner, with which metrics do you look at for a quick snapshot of the facility? Everything in the management summary is perfect. Exactly what I just went over. That's exactly what you'd be looking at, just so that you can play the pricing game. That's what you're going to be playing. Okay. All right. Let me see who else has who has a question real fast here. Oh, an investor might play the game for management. See, it depends on what the market is in demand for and the timing. Yeah, together. Yeah, exactly. So we talked about that as well too. So that's good. Anything else? Any final questions before us? How do I register more for on your request more for your so just email me. My email is questions@stacyrossetti.com. Questions@stacyrossetti.com. You can always get a hold of me. Okay. So just email me and then I'll answer any questions that I can. Okay, I try to do that. All right, I appreciate you guys hanging on, listening to me, and hopefully I will see you guys at the next session. Okay, take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.